Howdy class! We've talked about tempo and beat along with dynamics in our Music Basics series. Today we're going to be talking about how we organize pitch, which we call harmony. In music we have two types of pitch organization, melody and harmony. Melody is the main line of a piece of music. It's the tune. You could also call it the horizontal organization of pitch. The melody relies on rhythms and multiple notes in succession to organize pitch. Harmony is the vertical organization of pitch and is probably the most complicated subject in all of music. The first thing we need to look at is the scale. A scale is a collection of notes in either ascending or descending order. Typically, a scale is comprised of 8 notes, 7 different ones, and then a repeat of the first one. There are two common types of scales, major and minor. Major sounds happy, and minor sounds sad. We're only going to be looking at major scales today as they are the simplest scales to work with. In each scale, every note is assigned a number from 1 to 7. The 8th scale degree is simply a repeat of the first. We can build a chord off of each scale degree. A chord, or at least a chord in its most common form, a triad, is made up of grouping scale degrees 1, 3, and 5. If you're starting on a different scale degree, it's the same idea, but the numbers would be different. So if we are starting on the second scale degree, it would be scale degrees 2, 4, and 6 creating the chord. Chords built off of each scale degree serve a specific harmonic purpose. I will go over those purposes, but I will have to go out of numerical order to accurately explain it. So it won't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be a bit different. Chords built off of scale degree 1 is our home base. It's where we start, and it's where we're always trying to get back to. In music theory, we often call our one chord the tonic. Chords built off of scale degree 5 is like the summit of the mountain, or walking out on jumping off of a diving board. It leads us back to our tonic, back to scale degree 1, and we call the chords built off the 5th scale degree dominant chords. Chords built off of scale degree 7 are also called dominant chords, but they serve the same function, but we don't use them nearly as often as we use 5 chords. Chords built off of scale degrees 2 and 4 are the road to our dominant chords. They come before our dominant chords, and thus we call them predominant, meaning before dominant. So our predominant chords come before our dominant chords. So chords 2 and 4 come before chords 5 and 7. You might have noticed that I skipped chords built off of scale degrees 3 and 6 because those are not very commonly used, though they do serve as a substitution for the tonic. So they also work in that home base area because they share a lot of similar notes. The simplest harmonic progressions that you're going to see will be just going between a 1 chord, so a tonic, and a 5 chord, a dominant, just back and forth between the two. It sounds like this. I'm going to play them again, and I want you to really listen for the function. Listen for how 5 goes to 1. This movement between 5 and 1 is what we call a cadence. There are a bunch of different kinds of cadences, and we can really get into the weeds with it, but we are only going to be concerned with what's called a perfect cadence today, which means that we're going from a 5 chord to a 1 chord. Let's listen to that same progression again with all of this knowledge in mind. The next most common chord progression would be a 1 chord, followed by a predominant chord, typically 4, leading into our 5 dominant. And then after our dominant chord, we of course go back to 1. It sounds like this. Listen to it again and listen for the function. We start on our tonic, our home base, and then we're preparing for our dominant chord with the 4 chord, and then we reach the dominant on 5, and then we want to go right back home to 1. The rest of the video is going to be a quiz on Google Classroom. I will play each set of chords twice, and if you need to hear it multiple times, you can just go back and rewind it. I won't know. I can't stop you. And you will select which progression you think it is, whether it's a 1-5-1 or a 1-4-5-1. Now I will add an extra chord, a 1 chord, to the 1-5-1, just so you can't just count. Like there's only 3 chords here as opposed to 4. So you do have to listen to the function. Any questions, feel free to email me, comment on Google Classroom, comment on this video. Any of the ways that you've been reaching out to me in the last couple of weeks will work fine. I hope you have a great day and enjoy your quiz.